Hello there, all my cat people out there. I could say my cat people because I have a grand cat by the name of Mr. Magoo. So I want to talk to you about if your cat has urinary or cystitis issues or has kidney issues. For years, when I had my stores, 46 years, I know I look like a spring chicken, but 46 years, customers would come in and say, I need prescription diet, I'm using CD or KD or whatever, and we didn't have it, so I had to send them away. So I got a brainstorm one day and I called a veterinarian who you could go to their site, and you probably have been to this site. It's catinfo.org, it's Dr. Lisa Pearson. She was kind enough to take my call, and she told me how frustrated she was with the pet food companies, and I said, would you help me formulate a food for cats with kidney disease? And she said, absolutely. So Dr. Pearson helped me formulate, this was several years ago, helped me formulate this food, and by law, we cannot say this is for kidney disease because I have not gone through the testing protocols that you need to do to say for kidney. What I can say is we looked at the most popular prescription diets and sort of copied those, but tried to use a little bit what Dr. Pearson said, a little bit better ingredients, and tried to make them a little more palatable for the cat, which was very difficult, and I'll get into that in 1 minute. So what I like to tell my customers is try a can or get a can, bring it to your veterinarian, because I don't want you to use this unless you sort of get the okay from your veterinarian. Have them look at the label. I'm 99 and 9/10% sure they will say the label looks fine, you can use it if your cat has kidney issues, but I can't say that because I'm not a veterinarian and we haven't done the testing. So this food, the restricted phosphorus, and it's interesting, it used to be restricted phosphorus and protein, but the newest research showed that protein is not the issue, it's the phosphorus. So when you look at the label, you'll see not a lot of meat in here, and cats are carnivores. Why isn't there a lot of meat? Well, guess where the phosphorus is? The phosphorus, the mineral, is in the meat. So they really had a difficult time trying to get the right blend of meat in there, but keeping that phosphorus level low. And on the can, it says that the can is for intermittent feeding. And we get a lot of phone calls and emails saying, why is this for intermittent feeding? AVCO, which is the regulatory body for pet food, comes out with here a maintenance formula or an adult formula, and they want protein has to be this, taurine has to be this, phosphorus has to be this, magnesium. So this food is so low in phosphorus, it does not meet the AVCO limits for an adult or maintenance diet. So when I talked to the folks at the FDA, they said, really what we want is use this while the cat has the issue, and once the issue is gone, which unfortunately doesn't really happen, then they want you to go back to a regular diet. But if the cat has an issue, the food is fine. Now let me just tell you one thing about this. It's not, most cats aren't going to scarf this stuff down. You may need to doctor it, you may need to put some water in it. And when I talked about that with Dr. Pearson, she said, here's the deal with especially elderly cats when if they have the renal issues. You don't want to starve the cat to death. So if you have to add something into the food, put it into the food. It's the explanation is like, somebody's wife comes in and starts yelling at the 97-year-old guy for smoking a cigar because cigars might kill him. He's 97 years old, right? So if you have to doctor it up, doctor it up. And that's the way it is. So the next food that I want to talk about, which is also very, very common, is urinary or cystitis. And we did have a veterinarian team of certified veterinary nutritionists come up with this formula, and it's also made in Thailand. And this one I'm really proud of. And we were allowed to put the formulated by veterinarians, which I'll do next time we relabel. But this is absolutely 100% formulated by veterinarian nutritionists. And this is, because it didn't have to regulate the phosphorus, it's just the magnesium, this one is a little bit more palatable. So some people will say, well, can I switch these? No. The red can is if the doc said your cat has a kidney issue. The blue can is if the doc said your cat has a urinary or cystitis issue. Now, let me just explain one other thing before I wrap this up. These foods you don't need a prescription. I encourage you to bring them to your veterinarian to show your veterinarian these before you start feeding them. And again, the fact that they're for intermittent feeding is only because the magnesium or the phosphorus level, which is why you bought the food to begin with, is lower than what AAFCO says. So with that, I appreciate your listening to me, and I hope your cat remains well and you're a good cat parent for doing this. Thanks.